fact, let's check in with meteorologist Justin Stapleton to let us know what's going on right now with Harvey.
I was going to say the same thing, Sian. I said, funny to see. That's the first time we've seen Jake or any of the reporters not, drenched at this point. Obviously not the case with Haley Hernandez down in Galveston. If you're watching us down on the island right now, hopefully you have been hunkering down because it has been a wild ride over the last 24 hours. So let's unpack everything that we're going to be talking about over the next 12 hours here. As I said earlier, we're going to pivot from more of a heading into more of a flood rain threat versus a wind and storm surge threat. It is still very breezy out there. I'll show you some of the coastal winds here in a second, but I also want to show you where the storm is. It is now a tropical storm, Harvey. Note, it has not moved much. I'll show you how far it's moved here in just a jiff. Our tornado warning is expired as well, but we now have flash flood warnings that have gone up. That includes sections of Liberty County. You can see it goes all the way up in towards Polk County, slicing southward down towards Galveston, does encompass over to the eastern side of Harris County, but not for much of the inner loop just yet. You saw Jake's shot a second ago. It's not raining over towards White Oak Bayou. The water level is high, but so far everyone's in the green in terms of the big bayous, which is good. So these flash flood warnings will go till about 6 o'clock. I expect to see more of these starting to pop as we get later on into the day because of these bands continuing to just pull copious amounts of moisture and heavy rain right into Chambers County, moving in towards southern Liberty County, and then slicing its way up towards Livingston, and then right outside of San Jacinto and Polk County as well. So all of those, Conroe getting some of that, Huntsville as well as you get closer to the inner loop right now. A bit of a break, and that's the good news, but it's only about 1:40 in the afternoon here. So we still have time that we could regenerate some thunderstorms if we get some sunshine and help to kind of destabilize the air. Clearly, there's a lot of moisture out there. So folks up into Corrigan, as you get up towards Trinity and Crockett, looking at some moderate rainfall, and then further off to the south and west, same thing in Brenham and Sealy, getting a bit of a break finally down to Wharton, same story there. And then you can see the center of it right outside of Cuero. And that's what we've been watching as Harvey's been making its inland move from Rockport late last night. And in fact, it's only moved inland about 75 miles. And it doesn't look like it's headed anywhere soon because this is going to be with us for the next 3 to 4 days. So right now, the biggest threat over the next 4 to 5 hours will likely be these feeder bands right now over on the eastern end of things. Across some of the eastern counties, a bit of a break, but notice that we're getting some redevelopment down towards Brazoria County. And then as you go just outside of Fort Bend County, Rosenberg as well, moving its way up 59, we'll watch some of these bands. Some of those still have some rotation with them, so we're not necessarily done with the tornado threat just yet. In addition, the winds, you saw Haley Hernandez down, had to get off the strand because of flooding, and they're still packing some pretty good winds. Freeport, 28-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Same thing as you get towards Galveston, a little less, but still a very breezy afternoon from Columbus over towards Bush Airport at around 15 to 20 miles an hour. So officially, it's 70 miles an hour, gusting to 90, pressures at 987, and the movement crawling basically 2 miles an hour to the north-northwest. Don't expect that to change much over the next couple of days. And in fact, by later on this evening, the storm remains basically stationary where it is just north of Goliad, and then as we go in towards Sunday and Monday, it takes a bit of a turn back down towards Victoria and then takes a hard right moving north up between Sealy, Brenham, and up to Bryan College Station. Now notice again, go counterclockwise, winds around that continues to pull all that moisture in, but as the storm starts to weaken, the heaviest rain will likely be around where the center of the tropical depression is, and that's what our computer models are starting to pick up on. Watch the American model as we go through Sunday afternoon and then take it in through Monday. Notice that the rain bands here are only producing about 6 to 8 inches, but watch that bullseye right outside of, let's say, Hallettsville. That is upwards of around 16 to 20 inches as we go to early Monday. Go to Monday afternoon, same story. Not much movement, now turning into the green, which is 25 to 30 inches, and we're starting to see places in towards Austin, Waller County as you get up to Brenham, maybe dealing with upwards of anywhere from around 12 to 16 inches of rain. And then eventually by Tuesday into Tuesday night, as we get into Wednesday, when that storm finally starts to exit, that's where the biggest bullseye potentially could be. This trend has been somewhat consistent over the past 24 hours, especially with the American model. We've been seeing the same thing with the European. I'll show you. So that does help some folks lessen potentially their rainfall a la flooding impact. Not so good for others. Watch the European model, that is, as we go into Tuesday and in towards Wednesday. It's a little more widespread, but it still keeps that general 25, 35 inch bullseye in almost the exact same spot. So it appears we're getting some better model agreement. And here's where the problem is going to be with that, is we're going to be seeing some significant rises along the rivers as that rain continues to fall. Now, over on the east side, last night, notice that we had the Trinity River at Liberty was up into major flood stage. The new model projection for that keeps it at a moderate flood stage, but notice that it's not a quick drop off. As you get to the Brazos River near Richmond, could potentially be cresting early Tuesday morning, but then quickly going back down below flood stage. And that's what we need with all these rivers. Here's the problem, though. As you get further closer to where that bullseye is, the Colorado River at Wharton right now, potentially going above into major flood stage as early as Monday morning. And then whereas some of the others quickly go back down, look what this one's doing, stays in major flood stage. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're talking a potential of multi-day event of major flood conditions. White Oak Bayou at Houston, where our Jake Reiner was just a few minutes ago, right now projected as we go late night tonight to get up into major flood stage, about 42 feet. We're going to watch this one very carefully for folks, but thankfully does back off early Monday morning. And then, of course, as we get out towards the San Bernard River near Bowling, a couple of spots out there on the west side have already called for voluntary evacuations across the Brazos River and the San Bernard as well. If you live in those areas, this one, the other concern is rises up to, let's say, early Sunday morning into major flood stage. Here's the record, 42 feet. Right now, it's projected to go to a new record flood level of 46.7 feet and stay there all the way possibly through the end of the week. So that's going to be the major concern for us. And of course, the same thing, Cypress Creek near Cypress, also watching that one, could be getting close to its record of 127 feet. So guys, we've got a lot of potential for some major catastrophic flooding out there. And one of the reasons why, this is what Frank Billingsley and Britta and I have been talking about over the last couple of days, there's no steering currents to this storm. We've got a big area of high pressure off to the west, and we've also got one to the southeast. And this storm has sort of found the weakness in between those two, and it may take until late week when this front moves on through to kind of grab that and sweep it up as it moves on. Otherwise, though, we're not seeing much change. And in fact, temperatures aren't going to be much of an issue. It's going to stay in the low 80s, but we're going to be dealing with Harvey basically from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly even some into Thursday before we can start to clean out and hopefully get us a chance to not only some drier weather by the weekend, but get those rivers to slowly start to back off. As we said, our pivot's going to be more some catastrophic flooding for some, Jonathan and Sion, and that's what we're going to be concerned with as we go through the next couple of days. We'll continue to keep you updated. I'll be on our social media all day today as well, answering questions and any new updates that we get.